You're here with your writing mini lesson for today. We are going to be planning our resolution and theme. We're going to be finishing up that planner today and talking about our fishing story in a conclusion. So make sure you have your planner out, make sure you have the poem out, and we will start to tackle this ending today. So what we're going to look at is we're going to revisit our poem. We're going to revisit some of the things that we've already planned. We obviously know that this is a snapshot or just a scene that is taking place in our story. But this is the most important scene because it's kind of hopefully where most of you have realized that this is kind of where our characters have some sort of moment together where they either realize that there's a problem or they start to solve the problem, and they start to kind of figure out how we can reconnect and get to that conclusion. So in our planner today, we're going to look at not only a scene that ends the story, but we're going to also plan out a theme and how our reader is going to get to know that. When it comes to our planning today, we need to make sure we revisit what our problem is to make sure that our ending scene actually solves it. And then we also need to make sure that our reader understands the lesson. So whatever scene we choose to have at the end, we need to make sure that the reader is like, oh yeah, that's the theme. Because you guys are always able to pick theme from the books we read. We want that to be the case with yours as well. So we're going to go ahead and look at this first section as far as the resolution. So when we think about details in the poem, we think about our fishing scene, we need to kind of plan events that are going to take place at the end of our story, maybe after the fishing scene, that actually make logical sense for the end of the story. So, for instance, something I might plan or I might write in my resolution is maybe the father and the son, have a heart-to-heart talk on the way home from the fishing hole. So I could put maybe that they, drive home in a truck and they're talking about how fun it was together. And then maybe my second event is that, the son apologizes or the father kind of explains something to the son. They have a heart-to-heart moment where, they realize that they've been, apart for a while. Maybe my resolution events are that the son needs to kind of confess to something that he's been keeping to his father. So maybe there's a scene at the end after they catch a fish where they're having lunch together and the son kind of confesses or becomes a really honest person and tells the truth. I don't know whatever your story's problem is, you need to have some sort of scene here at the end where the problem ends up being solved. So you kind of need to revisit your problem, and then we'll kind of see how that can play into the end of the resolution here. So go ahead and pause this video at this time, and I want you to start kind of jotting down some events that you think could be the resolution scenes for our story. So go ahead and pause here and plan those out. What's up, guys? Welcome back. So hopefully you have some resolution events here. Simple things, but, powerful, because we've got to make sure that our story wraps up. The second part is that we're going to plan a theme. So something that we haven't done with some of our other ones is we need to make sure that our theme is shown, so that if I read your story, I would be able to pick a theme from my theme chart if I had to do that. The way to get a theme or a lesson across to a reader is that a character needs to say or do something for the reader to signal in their brain, like a flash goes off. Oh yes, that's what that is. So we need to plan something that makes logical sense for a theme for our story. So go ahead and revisit your planner. Like, if you were to plan a theme, what do you think it would be? Would it be loyalty? Would it be honesty? Would it be acceptance? Would it be I don't know, overcoming a problem, or maybe like bravery. I don't know what it is, but this would be a great time as well if you need your theme chart, to make sure that you kind of have a theme for your story and a lesson that you want your reader to understand. When you feel like you know what that is, this is where we can plan an actual event that happens, for that lesson to take place. So when you think about our main character or characters, whether it's one or both of them, what's going to happen, or who's going to say something in this scene for the lesson to come to life? For example, let's say that I want my characters to reconnect after like a hardship that they had to go through. And so they've kind of been distant for a long time. Maybe they don't really talk to each other. They're kind of angry with each other. I might have a scene here at the end, or a character might say, maybe the boy says, it's been really hard since mom passed away, and I've been taking it out on you, and I'm struggling with that. So maybe my main character says that, and so my reader can then realize, like, wow, my theme could be acceptance, because the son is maybe coming to accept the fact that his mom passed away. Maybe my problem in my story was that the dad, has been drowning in work, and so he doesn't pay attention to his son at all. And so maybe in this section of my planner, my theme needs to be, I need to think of a theme or a lesson. Oh, how about something about like choosing wisely, or, making time count. So maybe my lesson is, spend time with the people you care about, and making that quality time count, because you don't always have a lot of it. So maybe the father works all the time, ignores the son. And so maybe in this section, maybe my main character, maybe the father has to, maybe he gives him a day every week where he gets undivided attention from his father. And so maybe that is something that happens in that scene, where the reader is like, oh, the father has realized his mistakes, and he's learning to overcome them and pay more attention to his son and set work aside. Maybe that is how the reader knows the lesson. Whatever you choose to do in this section is really important, because the reader needs to know what they're supposed to learn. So for independent practice today, you're going to be planning your theme, which you'll be putting over here. What is your lesson or theme? And then you're also going to plan the event. So either what does a character say, or what does a character do that shows this specific theme that you planned. You're going to plan that over here on the right. That is kind of your independent writing practice today. And then if time allows, I will attach a second video onto here. If not, this is all we're going to do. And then this will be it for our writing mini lesson today. So make sure you get those things planned for your resolution and your theme. And after that, you're good to go. Great job, everybody. Hopefully we'll be ready to tackle this new one when we come back from fall break. Thanks.